Good afternoon, or good morning, or even good evening, wherever you are around the world, United States. Thank you for tuning in. We have a good one today, so let's commence.
The ones who were storming that ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey, to be stripped of their committees. We'll see if that happens. Chad Pergram was on the Hill asking Hakeem Jeffries, what will happen if those Democrats are arrested?
What happens if they were to go and arrest these members, or if they would try to sanction them here in the House of Representatives?
They'll find out.
What would you do? What recourse? Doesn't that broach a?
They'll find out.
Doesn't that go across?
That's a red line.
What's the red line, though? I know we have the speech and debate clause.
It's very clear. First of all, I think that the so-called Homeland Security spokesperson is a joke. It's a joke.
I want you to visualize this. These liberals will be charged and prosecuted, allegedly, but hopefully. They should be charged. And it is clear and obvious that they are affected by the Trump deranged syndrome disease. Why would they act the way they act? They know better. Why would they make an attempt to try to barge through these ICE agents for nothing? They are going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, drowning in their own tears. For what? Because they cannot win this battle. They are incriminating themselves. They can't find nothing, so they have to create conflict just to get the spotlight for the news. Very interesting. But
joke.
We love it over here.
What is a joke? What is?
They'll find out.
You're going to find out. Well, you have no power right now to do anything. You have no control of government. What possible tool could you use? Meanwhile, he doesn't even deny that they assaulted the police. Is that the standard for the guy that was all J6 and bringing all the law enforcement to testify on Capitol Hill? Do you have the same standard here?
The House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, is responding to what David Hogg is the vice chair of the DNC. They are trying to oust him, and it turns out the DNC will vote later this year on whether to remove him. And then the House Minority Leader was defending the Democrats. So let me read a quote from what David Hogg said first. He said, "Today the DNC took its first steps to remove me from my position as vice chair at large. While this vote was based on how the DNC conducted its officers' elections, which I had nothing to do with, it is also impossible to ignore the broader context of my work to reform the party, which loomed large over this vote. Our country's in crisis and too many leaders in the Democratic Party are asleep at the wheel." Then here's Hakeem Jeffries.
I think what I'm doing that's different from before is I'm challenging the status quo in a direct way and head on. And that really scares people. But frankly, I think right now, nobody should be comfortable when our country is in a moment of crisis. And I think that there is far too much comfortability across the board. And we need to make sure that we are electing the best people possible in our own party.
The vice chair of the DNC, David Hogg, he said today, quote, "Too many leaders in the Democratic Party are asleep at the wheel." You're obviously a leader in the Democratic Party.
Did he mention me by name?
He did not, but you are a leader.
Okay.
Are Democrats asleep at the wheel? Does he have a point, and should he stay in his role?
I think I've been very clear about my perspective on David Hogg, and I'm going to defend every single member of the United States House of Representatives and Democratic Caucus.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are witnessing the destruction of the Democratic Party. The liberals are going down in flame, infighting. Get your popcorn, because I am loving this. They're tearing each other down. Why? Because whatever they're doing, their ideologies, all of it is not working. No matter how much you explain to them, their beliefs are not working. No one wants to implement what they believe in. Remember, they try to slam this thing down our throat for 4 years and try to get us to conform. But we said no, we couldn't wait for election. So we put a big fat FU in their faces to let them know, no, we don't believe in that. Thank you.
Democratic caucus.
Guy, your response.
I mean, that's a punt from Jeffries. I do have to say, as a non-fan of David Hogg, which is probably not a shock to many people, it is a bit delicious that he might lose his post because of a DEI provision within the Democratic Party, and he's not diverse enough, and they didn't do their procedures properly under that rubric, so they might have to do a re-election. I understand why he's upset about that. It does seem like the knives are out for him for other reasons, but I'm just sitting here wondering, Ainsley, are the Democrats about to cancel another one of their elections? They did one last year, right? The presidential primary. They threw millions of votes in the garbage because the lie we were just talking about the incumbent, all fell apart on the debate stage. All right, never mind. The primary's gone. Are they now going to undo and void and nullify their leadership election at the DNC as well? I mean, this is wild to see from the party of democracy.
Yeah, they don't let the people talk. They just decide who's going to be in positions. Thank you so much, Guy. Great to see you. Indicted Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan. She is the one who is charged with helping an illegal immigrant escape her courtroom. The two charges carry a maximum penalty of 6 years in prison and $350,000 in fines.
You see, that is liberal logic. Tell me something, Anna. Was it worth it? Right? You could have went to the hospital and got an antidote for your Trump deranged syndrome. Who allegedly paid you to do some nonsense like that? Was it worth it? Why are these people going insane in the membrane? Why? But guess what? We're just sitting back, eating that popcorn and just loving it the way how they are imploding, burning up. But what can we say? All we can say, we're reporting the news and watch them burn. For what? Because they have nothing.
So this is what that grand jury has indicted her on: federal felony count of obstruction, which is very clear, and then misdemeanor count of concealing a person to prevent arrest, which is what she did. She not only waived off ICE and sent them to the chief judge, but then during the process of sending, she tells them, "Hey, go get approval from the chief judge." So they go to do that, and while court is supposed to be held, she sends them through the jury room and allows the person to run away from ICE.
Yeah, there's like a back door where
That's
the
exactly
jury
right.
can leave the courtroom in privacy. And she found out, according to these papers, that from the local security guards that were inside the courtroom, that the feds were outside of the courtroom waiting to grab him when he left.
So here's what Hannah Dugan's attorney said to Fox. She says, as she said, after her unnecessary arrest, Judge Dugan asserts her innocence and looks forward to being vindicated in court. Not that strong of a statement. By the way, Democrats, if you feel as though this is your leader, we've got to pick one. Is it going to be Kilmore? Is it going to be the ICE detainees who have committed crimes while here illegally? Or is it going to be this irresponsible judge? Here's DHS Secretary Kristi Noem.
I'm grateful that the judicial system recognized that she let down the court, let down the country, let down the authority that her position held, and that she will be held accountable for it. So I think that was a great decision coming forward to recognize that nobody can facilitate breaking the law. We shouldn't be able to allow that in this country, and we need to make sure that even judges are held accountable for the actions that they take.
The feds ended up nabbing him, the guy who's the illegal guy. Mm-hmm. They grabbed him. He was running from them the whole length of the courthouse. They finally grabbed him. There's his mugshot.
Actually, she doesn't have much of a case. I know her attorney says she's innocent, but she doesn't deny that she let him out the back door. So, I mean, this is, I give the feds credit. They didn't overcharge her. They literally kept it to the very minimum, which she let them through the back door, obstruction, and then the other charge of concealing a person to prevent arrest, which she clearly did. She even told the ICE agents that she wasn't going to allow them to arrest him. Meanwhile, this guy was in a hearing for domestic violence. So there you go.
What I would like to do is go over all of her decisions over the last 5 years. Do you think she just had one day?
I know.
One bad day?
Right.
I sense there's a huge problem, and there might be something with the track record of people that she has let out, also here illegally. And I believe that is Lincoln, who is not getting credit for that shot.
Look at that. Lincoln has a mask
Has a
on.
mask
Right,
on.
absolutely.
You know, when I was reading this, the charges that have come down against her, she's normally the one that's charging people. She's normally the one sentencing people. This is a judge. She's supposed to uphold the law, and she's not doing that. Instead, she's the one who's in trouble now.
So